Creating a flow with the is greater than or equal to condition. Hello everyone, welcome to today's Power Automate session. In this live demo, we're going to create a flow that automatically sends a notification email whenever a new task is created in our SharePoint list, specifically focusing on tasks that are still active and have not been marked as completed. This ensures that our notifications are relevant and only sent for tasks that require immediate attention. Let's start by taking a look at the SharePoint list we'll be working with and understanding its structure. Knowing how our data is organized is crucial for building an effective flow. Understanding the SharePoint list structure. The SharePoint list we'll be using today is called Project Tasks. This list is designed to help manage and track tasks efficiently. Here's a breakdown of the key columns we'll be utilizing in our flow. Title. This is where we enter the name or description of the task. It's a required field, which means we need to provide a title for every task we create. Status. This column is a choice field that allows users to specify the current status of the task. The options we have include Not Started, In Progress, and Completed. For our flow, we want to ensure that notifications are sent only for tasks that are not yet completed. Assigned to. This is a person or group field indicating who is responsible for the task. We will only send an email notification if this field has a valid user assigned, preventing any errors in our flow. Now that we've reviewed the SharePoint list and its columns, let's jump into Power Automate and start building our flow. Setting up the flow. To kick things off, let's open Power Automate and navigate to the main dashboard. Here, we'll click on Create on the left side to start a new flow. Since we want our flow to trigger automatically when a new task is added, we'll select Automated Cloud Flow. For the flow's name, let's choose something clear and straightforward, like Task Notification, Active Tasks Only. Now we need to set the flow's trigger. In the Choose Your Flow's Trigger panel, let's search for When an item is created and select it. This means our flow will start every time a new item is added to our project tasks list. Once selected, we'll click Create to move forward, configuring the trigger for our task list. With our flow created, it's time to configure the details for the trigger. In the Site Address dropdown, we need to select the site where our project tasks list is located. This drop-down will display all the sites we have access to. After selecting the site, the list name field should automatically populate with the available lists on that site. Here, we'll select Project Tasks. Now we've successfully set up our trigger to run every time a new item is created in this list. Next, we'll add conditions to check the status of the task to ensure we only send notifications for active tasks. Adding the condition to check task status. Now we're ready to add our first condition to verify the status of the new task. We only want to proceed if the status is not set to completed, so let's set that up. To do this, click on plus new step, type condition in the search bar, and select it from the list. In the first field of our condition, we'll choose status from the dynamic content options. This reflects the status of the task that triggered the flow. In the operator dropdown, select is not equal to. This operator allows us to exclude tasks that are completed. In the final box, we'll type completed. It's essential to remember that Power Automate is case-sensitive, so we need to ensure that the spelling and capitalization are correct. Now, let's add a note to this condition. Click the three dots at the top right of the condition, choose Add a Note, and write something like, this condition checks if the task status is not completed. If true, the flow will proceed to send an email notification. This helps keep our flow organized and clear for anyone else who might review it. Adding a check for an assigned user. With our first condition in place, we need to ensure that the task has an assigned user before attempting to send the email. This step is crucial because if the assigned to field is empty, our flow might encounter an error when trying to send an email. Within the Yes branch of our first condition, which means this condition will only run if the task status is not completed, we'll click Add an Action and select Condition again. For this condition, we'll configure it to check that Assigned to is not empty. In the first field, select Assigned to from the dynamic content. In the drop-down, choose is not equal to. In the last box, we'll type null. This check ensures that our flow continues only if there's a user assigned to the task. Let's add another note here to document the importance of this condition. Click the three dots again, select Add a Note, and type, "This condition checks if the task has an assigned user. If there's no assignee, the email won't be sent." Configuring the email notification. Now that we've ensured both conditions are met, we can proceed to configure the email notification. Within the Yes branch of the second condition, click plus Add an Action and search for Send an Email v2. Select it from the list. In the To field, we'll choose Assigned to from Dynamic Content. This ensures that the email goes directly to the person responsible for the task. For the subject, let's use something descriptive like New Task Assigned, Title. Inserting the title from Dynamic Content to personalize the subject line. In the body of the email, we'll write, "Hello. A new task titled Title has been created with the status Status. Please review and take action as needed." Here, we're including the title and status dynamically, making the email relevant and clear to the recipient. Finally, let's add a note to this action, just like before. We'll click the three dots, select Add a Note, and enter. This email notification is sent only if the task is not completed and has an assigned user. Saving and testing the flow. We're almost there. Let's save our flow by clicking Save in the lower right corner to ensure our flow is stored correctly. After saving, we'll click Test to begin the testing phase. Let's create a few test scenarios to confirm that our flow works as expected. Testing scenarios. Scenario 1. In progress. Task with assignee. We'll start by testing an active task. Let's head to the SharePoint list and add a new item. Title, Task for Review. Assigned to, choose yourself or a colleague. Status, in progress. Expected outcome. After creating this item, the flow should automatically trigger, and you should receive an email notification confirming the task assignment. Remember, the responsiveness of your flow will depend on your Power Automate plan. Higher tier plans typically offer faster trigger times. Scenario 2. Completed task with assignee. Now let's test a completed task to see if the flow correctly identifies tasks that should not trigger an email. Title: Completed task. Assigned to yourself or another person. Status: completed. Expected outcome: the flow should recognize that the status is completed and should not send an email. You can check the run history in Power Automate to confirm that the flow stopped at the first condition. Remember, the responsiveness of your flow will depend on your Power Automate plan. Higher tier plans typically offer faster trigger times. Scenario 3. In progress task with no assignee. Next, we'll create an unassigned task to ensure the flow doesn't attempt to send an email when there's no one assigned. Title: Unassigned Task. Assign to: leave this blank status. In progress. Expected outcome: the flow should not proceed past the second condition, as there's no assignee. Again, checking the run history will confirm that the flow correctly identified the lack of an assignee and stopped as expected. Remember, the responsiveness of your flow will depend on your Power Automate plan. Higher tier plans typically offer faster trigger times. Scenario 4. Assigned task to yourself with not started status. Finally, let's create a task assigned to ourselves with an active status. Title: Assigned to myself. Assigned to yourself. Status: not started. Expected outcome: in this case, we expect the flow to proceed and send the notification, confirming that tasks not marked as completed and with a valid assignee will successfully trigger an email. Remember, the responsiveness of your flow will depend on your Power Automate plan. Higher tier plans typically offer faster trigger times. Wrap up. Congratulations, everyone. We've successfully created a flow that uses complex conditions to ensure notifications are sent only for tasks that are still active. This flow specifically checks that the task status is not set to completed and verifies that an assigned to user is specified, preventing errors if this field is empty. By setting up these conditions, we've ensured our flow is efficient and avoids unnecessary notifications. This approach keeps notifications focused on actionable tasks and helps maintain a clear, manageable inbox for users. To recap, trigger. The flow activates automatically when a new item is created in our SharePoint list. Condition 1. It checks if the status is not set to completed, filtering out tasks that are already done. Condition 2. It confirms there is an assigned to user, preventing errors and ensuring the email goes to the right person. Action. If both conditions are met, the flow sends a notification email to the assigned user, complete with the task title and current status. With everything saved, you can close the editor and let the flow run automatically, knowing that it will handle active tasks efficiently. Remember, the responsiveness of your flow will depend on your Power Automate plan. Higher tier plans typically offer faster trigger times. Great job on setting this up. You've now created a robust automation that streamlines task management notifications. Thank you for joining, and I hope this gives you confidence as you design more flows in Power Automate.